Yeah, we're gonna go a little bit on that icy adventure. A little bit on the icy adventure, not too long. You know, we're gonna turn our heads left or right and gonna put on the gloves. Gonna go to get the money for the rent, get the money for the rent. Grateful, thankful. Last day, so I'm gonna have to survive November with $800 something, $870 or something like that, less than $900. But you know, gotta put on those gloves and still gotta be grateful because my anonymous friend gifted me the best ever gloves. So let me put the gloves on. Put the gloves. Because it's on the colder side, and I forgot that I have some garbage here to relieve, and that's what I gotta do with the garbage. So I gotta stack it in, and I gotta be proponent for the stacking of the gloves as I go. So that's what I gotta get doing with that, and to get the garbage thrown properly. So that's gonna go here. Hold on, it's a bit of an entanglement, I guess. So we got a little entanglement going on. Oh, I guess here we go. Got a little bit of an entanglement. Still grateful, thankful, you know. Turn my head left or right. If I cross the street, it's a bit on the chillier, colder side today, but nonetheless, you gotta be grateful. Gotta be grateful. Rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, auctioning everything that I'm wearing. The red hoodie. I'm wearing a red hoodie, second hand. It's got some holes, but nonetheless, you can still wear it. You can still wear it a little bit. Grateful, thankful, you know. And well, today's the last day, so my rent's still paid for February. Last day of February 28th. So we're gonna go a little bit on the go and get on that dynamics of paying the rent. So encouraging all the working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice. I've lost between 80 and 93 pounds in the past more than 7 years since I commenced my fitness journey, you know, and I always encourage, and I love fitness. When I see people working out, training, exercising, it always gives me a little bit of joy. And see, here is not that bad, but some parts there, it was so icy, lots of ice. It was like a skating rink in the corner there, how it was, I guess, because of the altitude, how it was a bit bent, you know. The street was a bit crooked. It's like a bit tilted on the side, you know. So that's why it was a bit more difficult from the perspective that it had ice. So having that it had ice, like here, see. But that wasn't, this is not as bad because this is a bit melted, but that there was like a skating rink. So I almost skated a little bit. Just before I started recording the video, I said, hey, this is gonna be quite an interesting event here, but I thought it was gonna be all the streets like that, but that was just that small area. Now it makes sense after my calculation, because there was like it's like dent, you know, like kind of in a VV type of situation. So here we go. Grateful, thankful, my rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, and we're really gonna go on the clock, gonna get that rent money. Super important to get that rent money. Encouraging all to work out, train, exercise, and I had a little bit of a sandwich, 2 cups of coffee, and you know, since the morning, I'm on that geopolitics for like 6 hours, almost 6 hours. I was revising, and of course, the main topic of event is, of course, in terms of world, international, global geopolitics, is the meeting between Donald Trump and Zelensky, which kind of went a little bit on the more difficult, unresolved conflicts, and there were some, of course, events and worlds, which of course they were on the go. So they had a little bit of a XYZ situation, and that's what they got disagreements, strong disagreements, and of course it took a more direct course term, and I'm gonna analyze it, of course, completely, fully in the coming days. You know, it's gonna be an in-depth analysis, because of course there were certain words, and of course myself as a pro-labor, love revolutionary centrist, that's what I of course do. Being on the revolutionary centrist side, you know, is something which I gotta get on the doing side, and that's always something which we gotta be meditating, you know. because it's geopolitics, and that's world geopolitics, global geopolitics, and that's what we gotta be doing now. And we gotta be on the reserve side, and we gotta compensate the North American geopolitical collective that we constitute a collective civilizational complex, which of course not totally divorced but distinct from Western civilization. And somebody donated some women hygienic products, so if you need something like that, and somebody donated some food, so I'm gonna take myself some food, if you don't mind. Thank you. I'm just gonna take for myself or for somebody else, and gonna leave some for somebody. I see there's also women's pads, and thank you. These actually have to go on the other side, although the fridge is not really necessary, but something which you can keep in mind, and that you can go on the other side. So just be mindful of that, you know. Here it's okay if we're gonna put whatever we're gonna put a women's pad, which is great. So thank you. It just has to be on the other side, you know. Just how you gotta be doing with that, you know. So, on the other side. On the other side, so this way it is just sounding on share. On share, I go some food, prepare, I go food. I can come fun. Gonna interject a little bit because I gotta do some flip-flopping, and gotta do some opening of the line. Opening of the line. That's what we gotta do. Yeah, these are really nice, and somebody donated these, and I'm just gonna take for myself and for somebody else. And that's gonna be a few packs of that. Many are left over here. Thank you for the fridge donation, and that's what we gotta get doing. There's leftover salad with that, and somebody had left a little bit of bread, so it's something which gotta be mindful for the meditation. I can put it in the backpack. That's what we're gonna go do it. So we're gonna go a little video with that. So take it for the bread and for the exercise. That's what we're gonna go doing. So we gotta go doing with that. And so we're gonna go on the side. It is what it is, and that's what it is for that. So that's what it is for that. So we gotta be a circumspect about. So. Oh yeah, that's what it is, and that's what it is, and grateful, thankful. Somebody's gonna appreciate the tampons, you know. That's a good thing, and women's hygienic products, and sometimes there's hygienic products for both men and women, yours truly, and whatever the case may be. See, they have to go here. So when I come back later, because now I'm gonna go for the rent, if they're still there, I'm gonna do the switch, and that's where the pads have to go, not in the fridge, of course, because they're not edibles, but and they don't have to be refrigerated. So yeah, thank you for those who made that good donation. Great here in the neighborhood. Good donation. I definitely appreciate every drop of donation for the food, and sometimes I wish I could just fill that fridge up, but I'm gonna do my part. I'm gonna just clean it soon, and today's a bit cold. Maybe tomorrow or Sunday, or maybe Monday. Start off just coming to do my part, you know, because it's public, so hygiene is important. We get to clean, and don't mind me, I get dirty but get back clean, you know. I get dirty but get back clean, so it's something which I always have to meditate and keep in mind that I'm not without flaws, not without vices. I got some issues, and grateful, thankful for today, carpe diem, and celebrating, marking 5 years since survived COVID back in 2019, and got that backpack on now. Thank you for the bread donation, for the little things. I left some for others, I took for me and for somebody else, and you know, that's all gonna be appreciating for the farmers, the food producers, the truckers, and all those involved in the production and distribution of food, you know. So that's why we gotta be meditating now. I'm on the public, of course, so I got myself added responsibilities, duties, and obligations, which under the normal circumstances of life I would not have, you know. So it's carpe diem every day. since I died of COVID back in, of course, 2020, between February 7th and 24th, 2020 of March. 5 years. Wow, it was really sick. So that's why I express my gratitude, thankfulness every day. Farmers, butchers, truckers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, those picking up the garbage, collecting the garbage last night, the compost. You know, it takes that public and that private, and my dream. When I say support my dream, the dancing goddess and the dragon kingdom, and I can't see afar. I gotta see an optometrist in March, but I think that was a hug or a kiss on the head, and I think that gives me hope when I see, you know, the youth there. The youth, they watch the car. Okay, the car's turning. Gotta have my eyes on the youth like the hawk. HWK, I got my eyes on the youth for protection, for LOV here. Quebecers, Canadians, and my brothers and sisters down south, 50 states. I don't know about that 51st states, but you know, I was this Quebecer Canadian was born in the USA 3 times, past lives, incarnations, post 70, 76, and gotta get it for the LOV as well, you know. So that's what it is with that. So ocean to ocean, coast to coast, my initiatives are strictly and foremost for defense, security, service, and we gotta get a common passport. We don't need the border. We gotta focus ports, airports, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, ports, airports, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, ports, airports, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, and points of entry into a great North American census, a great North American census, a great North American census, a great audit. We gotta do a great North American census and a great audit of everything we possess here. You know, it's also gotta give some LOVE to my brothers and sisters, blacks, my neighbors included, black men, black women, you know, it's Black History Month, so I gotta include my brothers and sisters who are black in the march for the North American Collective. Pledge your allegiance, allegiance to our family. Friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, allegiance to our family. Friends with benefits only, pledge your allegiance, allegiance to our family. Friends with benefits only. So, you know, here I gotta turn my head left and right because you never know, the brakes malfunction. Citizen driver might press the accelerator instead of the brake. So all those things can occur. The possibility of those things occurring on a day-to-day movement basis when we roam along in the public is expected from the private. We got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations where we are in the public. And my initiatives is fundamentally a public-private partnership. My initiatives are fundamentally public-private partnership based. My initiatives are fundamentally public-private partnership based for the collective North American civilizational complex, for North America, for the LOV, for the lovers, for the butchers, for the bakers, for the nurses, for the truckers, for the firefighters, for all those involved in the production and then distribution of food, for all those involved, you know, production, distribution of food, the firefighters, North America Unite, garbage collectors, electricians, the plumbers, the electricians, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, all those, you know, involved in the production, distribution of food. And gotta get it for those still doing the snow removal. We got some big snow removal going on, and they be doing it big time because we got a big snowstorms, double 3 days apart, but we broke some record. We broke the record since it was not broken since 1941, but a double trouble storm. So basically the storm was not just one storm in one day, but it was a double storm. So it was 3 days apart, the storm, but it was nonetheless kind of on the same curriculum, you know, of storms. And you know, it was really lots of snow, but it got really hot a bit, even rained, and it was kind of messy weather, so we kind of gotta live with that, you know, we kind of gotta live with that. So yeah, that's what we gotta live with. And see, we gotta live with a remnant for the snow, for the ice here. And it's always good to get a little bit of exercise. I already feel much better. My only stress, you know, now is financial, commercially. I am financially struggling, you know, really tight budget, but I gotta give my thankful, grateful gratitude for that donation right there, you know. That's what money is, to buy, sell, and tough economic, financial, commercial times for many. That's why, you know, I know my DRT best, debt refusion theory best for the North American Collective, the North American Collective Civilizational Complex. My debt refusion theory to be, of course, implemented across the North American Collective, Canada, United States joint. And, you know, this is what it is, and encouraging all to work out, try and exercise. It is my medicine and therapy of choice, and of course have been and will continue to work out, and it's something which I really love. And I'm an Asperger, so I got Asperger's, which certain things such as social interactions can be more difficult, can be more difficult in certain circumstances, can be more difficult, and it takes a little bit of point of discernment sometimes, you know. But socially, I can be awkward, I can have less abilities, you know. Lost a lot of friends I made in the past 7+ years, especially at the Pride Parade. You know, Aspies were weird, you know. We have weird habits, and we're a tiny minority of neurodivergents who live with Asperger's, aka HFA. So it's like 1%, 0.5 of a percent, 0.44% of the population have Asperger's. So we spend most of our days with certain routines, ritualized routines and habits, and we have special interests, and those interests can preoccupy our daily activity with intensity, super concentration, and we're super in it. So my holy trinity is geopolitics, the study, the analysis of geopolitics 24/7, and fitness and sports. Dancing is my favorite sport, and dancing is my favorite fitness, and rock and roll. So you see my many hundreds of videos, I rock and roll, do geopolitics, and of course celebrating 5 years since I survived COVID. I'm also celebrating more than 5 years since I predicted an international conflagration back in October, November 2019, based on several parameters of analysis. That's what I predicted, and that's how we gotta get doing with that. And you know, that gives me hope when I see people a little bit of a hugging and kissing with consent and hygiene. HUG, hug like you never hugged before. Across Quebec, Canada, my brothers and sisters in the United States. North Americans unite. I don't know about that 51st state, but I am for the fusion of Canada and United States. The king is absent. The king is absent. The king is absent. We gotta get it, but the king is absent, and that's all we gotta get doing, you know. That's what we gotta get doing with that. So it's something which we gotta and have to materialize. And I'm a centrist, pro-labor, and love universal revolutionary centrist. My universal revolutionary centrism is tied hand in hand with my trinity of theories, the CIT, citizen integration theory, the DRT, debt refusion theory, and the DFT, the democratic fusion theory. So it cannot be divorced. It cannot be divorced from that trinity of theories, who needs to be implemented via LOV, because my brothers and sisters, that looks like a little bit of a danger potholes. By my implementing my debt refusion theory, we're going to be able to rebuild the infrastructure of North America. There's massive infrastructure which we need to, of course, implement, you know, because we got massive public and private debt. And I know my theory, the debt refusion theory, is paradoxically what's the solution on the table, as we got to focus on the solutions of the problems we have, you know. Mine at the moment only being financial economic, but hey, I got food, I got coffee, I got a new table from September last year from some work I did, just a few hours work. It wasn't much, it was $50, you know. But I'm always open for business and work, and that's a pothole I need to get doing. And I love working. I actually am very fit and got very fit, and it's just that Asperger's, you know, we tend to have social problems. We don't understand certain things, you know. It's just gossip and stuff like that. Our brains are different, so certain social dynamics, it comes very hard for us to be. We have to be told more directly, you know. And sometimes we can be direct and rude and seemingly abrasive. It's not by volition or ill. It's just because our brains, our well-being, but if you get to know, to appreciate Aspies, you know, sometimes, you know, it's a certain points of view of Aspies can be beneficial, although we're part of a tiny minority. But, you know, like I only say now, well, I will to have friends with benefits, and, you know, if you will, to me, friends with benefits for me, but then that's it, that's all. We can make arrangements, and you get what you got on the table, and that's it, that's all, you know. Consent, hygiene, and let's rock and roll. Consent, hygiene, let's rock and roll, because I love rock and roll, you know. And well, romantically, well, I'm not the only person I would marry. I'm going to propose again to a person. It's going to have to be a special androgynous open BDSM switch marriage. But other than that, there's only one person I would actually marry you know. So besides that, you know, it's just consent and hygiene and friends with benefits and part of the LGBTQ community, androgynous, pansexual. But I lost lots of friends, you know, I made during COVID and during the Pride parades, and I went to a lot of Pride parades, except for the ones that were canceled, you know. So that's what it is with that. That's what it is with that. And so that's what it is with XYZ. And that's what we gotta get doing. And it's the Pride parades. I made a lot of friends at LGBTQ, and I lost a lot of friends also, you know, because Aspies are very much misunderstood, you know, because a lot of people believe or think that Asperger's is a mental illness, you know, that Asperger's is a mental illness, that Asperger's is a mental illness, but it's not, you know. It's just a neurodivergence, and it's not a mental illness. It's not symptoms like you can treat as a disease. It's just we Aspies have to manage our characteristics. So for example, in conversation, we tend to breach the personal space, the interpersonal space. Sometimes I've been told often, you know, just then I realized those Asperger's because I've been diagnosed for many years by several people. And just in the past more than 44 months during COVID, I accepted it. And of course, yeah, I get so close to people, right close by a few inches to the face. And that can be, I can understand how that can be. A little bit of that LOVE there, you know, the youth. Gotta get that on loving for the youth. That's important, you know, that they get on that loving for the youth there. And they're joyous, smiling, having fun. That gives me hope. If they're happy, I'm happy, you know. If they're joyous, I'm joyous. 'Cause, you know, the rest of our problems, you know, we're gonna come out of it. Canada, United States. I believe there'll be a solution to the tariffs. I'm no Trump supporter, but you know, we gotta, like I said, my statement is investing in the border and investing resources, human or financial, otherwise technological, is best. We focus coast to coast, ocean to ocean, and implement my 911 Dragon Army initiatives, which is fundamentally for a public-private partnership. Just fundamentally for a public-private partnership, for security, service, and defense. Turn my head left to right here. This is a bit tricky, you know, because of the ice. So hopefully that'll be a little bit of a powder put on the ice, you know, because otherwise it's slippery there at the corner. So maybe they're gonna put a little bit of salt. Just my assessment, you know. So we need to get on the organization, on the XYZ, and on the LOVE. So that's what he wants. So that's what we gotta get doing with that. And you know, it's public sidewalks, and just be prudent out here on certain ice like this one. See. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I believe that investing coast to coast, because that's the point of entry by the ports and the airports, and we're open for sabotage. And as much as I disagree with many of Trump's policy, I would have voted for Kamala Harris or Biden, you know, definitely. But I'm no MAGA, I'm no Trump supporter, but on certain issues of security for Canada, I believe it's the integration, but parallel with my Trinity of theories, is best for the creation of the Dragon Army, aka North American Security Service and Defense Force only. Security Service and Defense Force only for the 21st century and you. And I'm going to be commencing in March, new boots, and marching for the Canadian Republican Guard, or the Canadian Republican State Guard. Not Republican as in the Republican, the party where Donald Trump is president, but in a Republican, and there's Respublicas, because the king is absent. As a Republican, in the sense of a fully Republican, in the sense that we all completely get of the king, and the monarchy and all that, because we're a new complex, and the king is absent. You know, it's not King Charles. It's not King Charles who's gonna come fight for us. It's not King Charles, you know, who's gonna come fight for us. You know, who is gonna defend, and me for defense only. I'll be the first to join if there will be an invasion. I'll go running to the Canadian Armed Force, say let's go. Already created my own workout training program system. Which is effective, simple, and efficient, and of which I've myself created more than 372 I've performed, you know. 372 sessions I performed, and I created it back to go hand in hand with the war III scenario, you know, that World War III scenario, international conflagration, which I predicted back in 2019, because I am an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst, or analyst and theorist, and that's my special interest. That's what I do on the daily. And now there was kind of turnover of events. It got a bit rough. It got a bit direct. It got a bit hardcore, to use more term rock and roll style. But nonetheless, you know, I can understand certain points of view. I try to imagine myself in Trump's position, you know, or as the governor of the 51st state, or as the governor of the 51st state, or as the governor of the 51st state, which my main directive would be, of course, the state, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, the defense security service, building economy, left, right, and center, centrist manner, public-private partnership best, and of course 10% tax on the rich, and to rebuild the North American inner urban cities, the ghettos of North America, and my brothers and sisters of the 50 states, you know, of which my brothers and sisters, blacks, brothers and sisters, my neighbor included, 13.4% are included, you know. So because you're gonna give an order for the Dragon Army, I'm gonna say, hey, I want you to HUG, 15 minutes is a period of gridiron NHL style football, 15 minutes, I want you to hug, you know. If you're able to give that order, where to work with that order, then you can follow order for defense to use lethal force. We're gonna use lethal fire force only for defense. For defense. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean, my protocols are for defense only, you know. For defense only. Defense, security, and service only. So it's defense. That's we're gonna play like that. Harbor ball, and otherwise we're starting from there. We're starting from yours and here and us and the North American Collective, which we are a new civilizational collective, an emergent civilizational complex with a common destiny, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, and that's all we gotta do, you know. So my fellow citizens here in the 50 states, invite us properly. If you're gonna invite us, propose, you know, with some good loving, not by bullying and implementation of tariffs. Just throw some parades, throw some marching bands, throw some of those cheerleading, let's go, become our cherished, beautiful states. Some of that good rock and roll, you know. If you want us to join Donald Trump, my granddaddy, you know. At the end of the day, as much as I disagree with a lot, we're not enemies, you know. We're not enemies, so that's all I got.
No. Lui fonctionne, c'est pas pour US.
Ok, c'est bon. Je vais attendre après vous. Oh, this one works, but not for US? Oh.
Ça, c'est canadien.
Ok. Oh, ok. Thank you, merci. Ah, ok, je pensais que ça fonctionnait pas. Ok, merci. Thank you. I'm already in the red now, red now. I have to do some more payments, you know. Oh, rent. Now pay my electricity bill, pay my hydroelectricity bill. One last one is gonna be the bill for my line of credit bill. There's no more disinfectant. I'm gonna use the one inside. If it's open, I know they're closed. I want to disinfect the hands. I got my own because you know there's bacteria, microbes, and germs when you touch that screen. How many people touched it before me? So it's always, you know, I keep the COVID protocols, keep the COVID protocols, because you know I get dirty but I get back clean. But imagine, you know, how many citizens touched it. Well, before I went, you can use, I don't know, maybe there was 50, and before it was clean, maybe it wasn't even clean since this morning. So let me check if I have disinfectant. Yay! Victory! Bacteria control is still a fifth on it. So Canadian is a Canadian. Let's see. Oh my gosh, it's small written. Oh my gosh, so small written. Let's see if it's made in Canada. Made in Canada. Oh, made in Canada, made in Canada, made in Canada. It's made in Canada, so I'm just gonna disinfect a little bit of the hands. and then rock and roll back to my headquarters, and then go to the mountain. So I'm really craving, maybe I'm gonna treat myself today to a big hamburger. It's cold, disinfectant. Smells good, smells like it's gonna kill those bacteria. Let's go, Dragon Army, 11 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're gonna add 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, because we're extra. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44. That's enough with that, so that's what it's gonna be. Gonna put it in, clock it in, let's go. That's it. And back to the headquarters, pay rent, and off we go, to the mountain, because it's before the Sabbath. Beautiful sky, so got enough money to pay rent, paid my electricity bill, paid my line of credit, because I don't have a credit card, but I have a line of credit, I have a line of credit, don't have a credit card, got a line of credit, 11% in interest, I pay on it, so that's what it is with that. So I'm gonna have to be a tight budget again for the month of March, if I don't make any income, it's gonna be tight, but today I think I'm gonna be able to afford to I'm just craving a hamburger, some of that good fast food. I could eat hamburgers every day. I could eat hamburgers every day, That's what I gotta do doing it, so that's where I gotta get LOV, just a double, maybe triple cheeseburger, double cheeseburger. Some of that hamburgers, I'm not gonna go anybody, if me and Trump invite Trump and all the leaders of the North American Collective for the banquet at top Mile Road. Thank you. Well, actually it's a pedestrian crossing, so I have priority by apropos, public, but thank you nonetheless. So invite to the banquet, the top of the Belvedere Chalet, leaders of the free world, Biden and Scorpio Biden, and BlackRock, Blackstone, of two different financial institutions, and Larry Fink, another Scorpio, and Bill Gates, another Scorpio, but of course Sagittarius, Pisces, Leos, Phoenixes, whatever, all black, white, and brown, and overthinking, loving, pledge your allegiance atop Mount Royal here, Montreal metropolis, 2.5 million people on Mount Royal. Is of course the metropolis, 2.5 million people, which they gotta get doing on that, and they gotta get it on the go. So it's kind of getting on the slippery side here, slippery side. I gotta watch it so I don't slip and slide, I still want to go to the mountain today before the Sabbath, and check it out a little bit. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm gonna have to speed it a little bit. Gotta watch the ice. Turn your head left and right. Gotta watch that ice, man. Yeah, Me needing some salt today. Gonna be needing some SALT. Gonna be needing some of that good salt today, and encouraging yours truly to get on that XYZ, you know, and making a little bit of that good loving in the sport. Somebody's love is important. It's not all about fight. Dragon versus Storm challenging all Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. Have been since 2018, and let's build together the North American peoples. Imperial Coliseum on the Canadian-US border, signifying the unity between Canada and the USA. Signifying the unity between Canada and the USA. Signifying the unity between Canada and the USA. Signifying the unity between Canada and the USA, you know. That's what we gotta get doing, and signifying the unity between Canada and the USA joint North American Union Collective, public-private partnership, my dream, the dancing goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, which is fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership. Thank you, bakers, cooks, LOV to the cooks, those making some deliveries, making some sandwiches, cheeseburgers, buns, all the cooks of Quebec, Canada, USA, cooks of North America, LOV, firefighters of North America, LOV. But us, we're North, through North strong and free. But through being strong and having freedom is not enough. We gotta have some of that LOVE. We gotta add some of that LOVE in it. You know, that's just ain't enough. Freedom, just like my brothers and sisters, in the land of the free and the home of the brave. And I sang that 3 times in previous incarnations, when I was born once a woman, twice a man, and served in the United States Army, you know, served in the United States Army, 156 years apart in 2 different wars, 156 years apart in 2 different wars, 156 years apart, the war is war, but the same army, you know. Gotta lay the foundations now, 21st century Dragon Army, for the PPP, North American Citizen Integrated Security Service and Defense Force, only a service. Security and Defense Force, only a merely for Security and Service and Defense Force. And where those 3 G4, G5 Gs at, public-private partnership for Security Service and Defense, new phones, new uniforms, new everything. Made Canada-US joint Dragon Army, DGA with it. Complimentary, the Dancing Goddess Army to the Dragon Army, the North American Integrated Dance League, to dance for the environment, for causes, to plant trees and for the environment. And we gotta get that 50-50. I know that there's 50-50 works, environmental work. You gotta do the individual as well, eh? As the individual, have a part. When I go in the mountain for many years, so many things I pick up, I go pick them from the forest, and I put them in the recycling, you know. So I do my part, you know. In a lot of those things, it's something which I do my part, but it takes a constant individual and the collective. And sometimes it's a public-private partnership, which is my dream, the Dancing Goddess in the Dragon Kingdom, and the rock and roll song being Pledge Your Allegiance, Legions, thou art family, pledge your allegiance. Legions, thou art family. I gotta watch my fellow citizens for the car, you know, like my eyes on the, like the hawk, H-A-W-K, you know, because I'm in the public, so I gotta watch out sometimes for my fellow citizens as well, the best of my abilities. Here we got some old school in Quebecers, we call it some Good Samaritan law. La loi du bon samaritain in French, you know, the Good Samaritan law, which is, you know, it takes a little bit of old school with a new school, old school with a new school. Sometimes we make compromises, and civilization is a privilege, you know. Go Hydro-Quebec, go, having the lights. Now I'm going to discuss the DRT, debt refusion theory. This is the only solution. Myself, you saw, I'm already in the minus now. I'm minus in the red, minus 300 already. Minus 300 already. It's the last day of February. Tomorrow is the first day of March. Already minus 300. But I'm going to pay on the 4th of March. It's going to be $100 on my debt. So I'm going to be minus 400. So that means, plus this $50 that I got now, that means that besides this $50 that I got now, I'm going to have 100. Because I got a minus, I can go up to minus 500. But correction, I also pay to the bank 15. So 100 minus 15 is 85. And I gotta pay another 4 total for the overdraft protection, that I can go up to minus 500. So I will pay up to 20, let's say. So in theory, besides this 50, I'm going to got $80. $80 to last me until for the month. So 50 plus 80 is 130. You know, as an emergency, I have 100, up 93.93, $93.93 for my 93 gang pledge allegiance, in case of an emergency for, you know, whatever expenses and whatever the case may be, for expenses such as food or whatever, all the food I have now. So that's what it is with that, and I gotta be mindful, on the parallel of that, civilization being a privilege, and my debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE best at this point in time where we are now, with the current financial situation that has stricken us. So due to the fact, why do I make the statement that my debt refusion theory is the only solution, or something similar to my debt refusion theory is parallel the solution, or something similar to the fact that we paid in 2024, we paid 46.5 billion in interest. That's how much we paid interest on the public debt, on the public debt. So that was last year, right? That was how much we paid on the debt, you know. We got how much we gotta pay on the debt, you know. 46.5 billion. A billion has 9 zeros, is 1,000, you know, 1,000 million. So that's 46,000 million we paid. It's all a crying matter. That's what it is with XYZ. But in 2020-2021 fiscal year, the number was 20.3 double. That would have been 20.3 times 2. That's 40.6. So 40.6. That's what it would have been double, you know. That's what it was gonna be double. So 40.6 would have been double 20.3, you know. So that's what it is now, and that's what we gotta get doing with that. So it was 46.5 billion last year, just the interest on the public debt. So you realize that it's an emergency, it's not sustainable, and we need to implement my debt refusion theory, the DRT, which includes monetary integration theory, and which is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union, 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 in the European Union. So that is just the fact. So the debt refusion theory for the creation of the universal exchange unit, the UE DRT debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE is what we must implement, because it's an emergency. And this public financial crisis, it's possible that Monday there's a black swan event in the public finances of Canada on the 3rd of March. Just if the tariff hit us, those 25, let's hope not. I'm gonna do some videos related to that. So yours truly. That's all we gotta be doing. That's what we gotta be doing. That's all we gotta be doing. So the debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange unit, is the solution. So we're gonna have to take all the public and the private debt. So again, this applies much to the public and private financial situation of both Canada and the US. Both the financial private situation of both Canada and the US. So this is pretty much applicable both Canada, US joined, because we reached record public and private debt. There's no argument there. That's just the fact, of course, due to COVID and having survived COVID, celebrating 5 years. And for me, COVID was like death, pestilence, and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. When I say that COVID was like death, pestilence, and disease, I know it sounds kind of like a hardcore death thrash metal song, but that's how I felt. And I died during COVID in February, between February 7th, 2020 and March 24th, 2020. I was very sick and ill, so I got hit hard by COVID. In many ways, I died. Nothing that I want to go back to. Living it carpe diem it every day with my dream and my theories, of which the DRT, that refusion theory for the creation of the UE, is my fundamental, of course. Right, to apply it, calling for the public-private partnership to apply it, you know. So that's what we're gonna do. So due to the fact that we paid 46.5 billion in interest, so that number is staggering, you know, staggering amount. That's 46,000 million. That's from 20.3. That was the amount in 2021, 3 years before. But yes, due to COVID, it more than doubled. But double 20.3 would have been 40.6. So last year was 46.5. I'm just gonna be careful here, because I think I see somebody. I gotta check my eyes. Got an optometrist in March, and because he's a small child, so I'm just gonna take a route on the side, you know. Thank you. That's what it is now, and That's what it is, you know. It was a very nice gesture. I mean, heard me coming and made a big smile and got out of the way. And I said, I have to get out of the way because it's children, you know. It's children, and their joy is the most important thing, you know. Their joy, their safety, because they're not really my children, but I consider Quebecers, Canadians, North Americans family, and of course they were my brothers. And I don't know if the child was a man or woman, because I didn't really see. A boy or a girl I didn't really see because it was bundled up, but you know, the mother or the sister or whatever family or not family relation is black, and I got to give some LOV, you know, because they're my family as well. Blacks, black men, black women, you know. It is what it is here. That's what we are, man. We're North Americans, you know. We're black and white here. But you know, we love, we play, we make sports, we do business. We're equals here, you know, under the law. We still got a lot of work to do. Racism, yes, it's internal, but we made it so far in a non-sectarian manner, and my dancing goddess and dragon kingdom is non-sectarian. Pledge your allegiance to our family is non-sectarian. By the non-sectarian principle, I have to state, you know, for the North American collective, first and foremost, for Canada, US, by extension, Mexico is in the North America. So, but this is what I know here, Quebec, Canada. So the DRT is what I know, debt refusion theory, and I know that. So you can check the numbers by Tiff Macklin, the Bank of Canada governor is Tiff Macklin. Tiff Macklin is the Bank of Canada governor, you know, Bank of Canada governor, Tiff Macklin, and that's what we gotta do. And to check with Auntie Christian Fillion, but she resigned for the Minister of Finance. But these numbers that I said about the public finance, you can double verify them, see with the Bank of Canada. The numbers, how much we pay on the public debt, the interest on the public debt, there are public information. You can access Canada, US. So pretty much we're the same boat. So there's no other way you can argue all you want. And yes, due to COVID, it more than doubled just the interest on the public debt of Canada. And obviously, just like if somebody's interest doubles, if you have credit cards, I don't have credit cards myself. I do not have credit cards. I just have the credit line which I showed you. I'm $10,000 in debt, and you know, I'm pretty open about my for years and years and years about my struggles, my pain, my suffering. But what matters is now with all that, forget that I'm androgynous, pansexual, that I have Asperger's, the DRT, you got to focus on the debt refusion theory, the principle and the implementation of the DRT, the debt refusion theory, the DRT, the debt refusion theory. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt, my 10,000, your 10,000, our 10,000. We're going to take it coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all the debt, public and private debt, 10,000, my 10,000, all the debt, public and private debt, all the debt, public and private debt. We're going to take it coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Dance, my children, in the street safely. That's what I love to see. That's worth fighting for there, you know. Those couples there, you know. Couple or not couple. That's worth defending, you know. Carrying a weapon and being armed for, you know. That's worth fighting for right there, man. You know. That's worth fighting for, man. LOVE. That's what I love to see. LOV. In the streets, man. That's worth fighting for. You know, Wall Street, they got their money. That's worth defending, man. Coast to coast. Dragging on me. Now I'm happy. DRT, debt refusion theory. We're going to take all the public and the private debt. All the public and the private debt. All the PPP, all the public and the private debt. All the public and the private debt. All the public and the private debt. We're going to take it, all the public and the private debt, and convert all the public private debt of Canada to US dollar, into US dollars. And all the debt, public and private debt, we're going to convert it into US dollars. And we're going to convert it into US dollars, added with the US, because the DRT to be implemented simultaneously. Canada joint US, Canada joint US, Canada joint US, and get rid of the border and make a great census. All this population, where they're from the past 5 to 7 years, let's say since February 2020 or since July 24th, 2017, whatever the case, 5 or 7 plus years. Assessment and create a common passport, common currency. The DRT debt refusion theory includes monetary integration. We're going to take all the public-private debt, all my debt, including my $10,000 to the RBC, yours coast to coast Canada, public and private, converted into US dollars, added with the US, all that money is gonna be the initial money supply for a new central bank, whatever we call it. We're gonna issue a new currency called the UE. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The UE, the UE, the UE. U dot universal,